we on? Are we on, Trev? Are we on?
Yep.
Are we on then? Hello everyone and welcome to BeerSweden television. Is it TV really? Is it TV? What we do, Trev?
BS TV, innit?
But anyway, whatever it is that we do, welcome to it. Today we'll have a look. I don't think we really need to say terribly much. Have a look at these. What we've got here, if you've been following the blog, you'll know that I'm excited. It's August, isn't it, Trev, still? Just?
Yeah.
But it feels like Christmas Day to me today, because this week I managed to get my dirty mitts on a collection of vintage beers that I have not seen the like of, I don't think ever before. They are a collection of different types of beers, different styles of beers, from a guy called Magnus. Magnus, I'm going to give you a big shout out. Thank you very much for the opportunity to get my hands on these beers and to try them. These beers are basically, it's a fantastic story behind this and the reason that we're doing this show. Basically Magnus had been collecting beers over the years, back in the early 90s, and had collected loads actually. I think there's 6 or 7 boxes of beers, and has changed or moved a few times, and basically is stuck with these bottles and doesn't really know quite what to do with them. But I do. So what he did was he sent me an email and said, well, you know, would you be interested to come along and have a look? And so I did, and I saw these things, and basically I've managed to get hold of them, and what we're going to do is we're going to try some of them, because all of these beers, all of them, date back to sort of early 90s, 92 to 94. So we're looking at beers that have got sort of 17, 18 years in the bottle. We did a show recently with Old Stock Ale, that was right, wasn't it, Trev? From North Coast Brewing.
Vertical taste.
A vertical tasting. You like that, didn't you? It sounds very technical now all of a sudden. Vertical tasting we did, our first one on BeerSweden, and that's when we compared a 2010 vintage with a 2006. Well, we're going to blow that away today, because the idea is that I'm going to get you, Trev, to pick one of these beers, okay, and I'm going to taste it, and you can decide which one.
What, randomly or after script?
Randomly-ish, okay. There's a couple here that I think probably are pretty undrinkable, but there are some at the front here, around the middle. These ones at the back may be a bit dodgy, but just pick one, Trev. It's like a game show, this one. Pick one and we will taste it live on camera. Take time. Not that one.
Looks interesting.
It does look interesting. It's a that's the Imperial. Not that one.
Bulldog.
Not that one. Oh, that was a fantastic beer, I may say.
Tell me, hot
Warm, hot. Yes, let's try that one. Well done, Trev. It's completely spontaneous there. Fantastic. Well, you throw me now, Trev. I wasn't expecting this one, but I think, why not? Let's try this one. First of all, I'm going to hold it up so you can see exactly what we're going to be getting stuck into. Now this is a brand, of course, that a lot of people will be familiar with. Leffe. Leffe is a very sort of well-known Abbey style beer producer. Leffe Brun and Leffe Blonde are two beers that you'll see in a lot of pubs throughout Sweden. InBev now, obviously, huge beer conglomerate, pump this stuff out, but this bottle is a very rare bottle. It's one of the most hard to get from the Leffe range. The Vieille Cuvee. This one, I'm just looking at the front of the bottle. I love all this stuff. This is like archaeology, isn't it? It's like beer archaeology. 03, 02, 94. What are you doing in 94, Trev? Dare I ask? You were out then, weren't you?
What, the closet?
94. I'm going to give you a few facts about 94. When this beer came out, 94, the Channel Tunnel opened for the first time. Did you know that, Trev? The Channel Tunnel opened from England to France. So all those illegal immigrants could actually come in and visit us all in Kent. I remember that. That was a good year. Kurt Cobain died. Started off the whole grunge thing. Do you remember that? What else? What else happened in 94? Brazil won the World Cup.
The interweb.
We nearly won it, didn't we? We nearly won it, I think. Seem to recall. The what?
The interweb.
The interweb. The internet. Yeah. What? That was long. What
Sort of.
Sort of. Okay. All right. So it's a pretty incredible year actually. It was a good year. I don't know what I was doing in '94. I think I was well. Actually, I'll tell you what. I'm not going to tell you what I was doing in '94. But anyway, it was an interesting year, and that was the year that this beer came out. Now, this is a very strong beer. This is 8.1% ABV, and of course, being so strong, I'm hoping, because you never know when you're actually opening beers this old. I'm hoping that the alcohol has actually helped preserve the beer and actually improve it, because Leffes that I know are very, very sweet, almost sort of treacly sweet. Lots of residual sugar in Leffes. I'll be honest with you, I'm not a Leffe fan. But I'm hoping that 18 years, or not 18 years, but 16 years in the bottle with this one will mean that a lot of that residual sugar will have died down a little bit, I hope. And what we're going to get is still very intense, but
Where's it from?
more drinkable. Well, the actual brewery itself, it's a Belgian beer, and it's from the Abbey de Leffe. So it is a it's going to be, well, as I say, hopefully very typical of that style. It's very sweet candy, sorts of candy floss notes to it, with that little sort of bit of Belgium yeast going on as well. So should we open it, Trev?
Can you still get them now?
I think you can still get them now, but of course this is unusual to have a beer that's this old. Lovely in this bottle, of course, because that means there's been no light. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm trying to do this fairly quickly because I don't want sunlight to interact with these beers for too long. It's a bright day, because we don't want any skunking of the beers going on. So we're going to fly through it. But with this bottle, look at that, absolutely perfect. So I'm very hopeful for this one. Shall we open it up? First thing we're going to look for is that little of carbonation to see whether it's still got a little bit of pressure in it. See if it's there. Oh, it's there. It was there. It wasn't massive, but it was there. Bit of gun smoke too. Very unusual packaging. Very
Dodgy looking bottle.
Very dodgy. I have to say, it is a little bit George Michael, isn't it? The whole packaging. But anyway, that's enough of that. More about the beer. Give it a little bit of air. Pour it up. Now, at this sort of strength, I'm not expecting a huge head. Look at that. Crystal clear, isn't it? Lovely colour to it. There's a good sign straight away. Can you smell it coming over? Yeah? Fantastic. I've got a big grin on my face now because I think this is going to be good. Now, again.
Apples.
Apples? Trev, from there, can you smell apples? You know what? You're learning, you are. You're getting better and better.
Well, you're my Yoda, aren't you?
That's it, exactly.
Look like him
You're my
too.
youngling.
Yoda, you look like him too.
Thank you. This is fantastic, actually. I'm breaking out with a big grin. Fantastic. The beer, I will have to say, straight away, from the looks of it, is in excellent condition. In terms of the nose, this is completely un-Leffe-like to me. Absolutely nothing like I remember it. All that sweetness has gone to be replaced by, because normally with Leffe I'm getting it. This is delicious. And when you say apples, it's absolutely true what you say. Stewed apples. Stewed apples. And cinnamon. This reminds me of Christmas for some reasons. And, well, let me get back to that. But certainly the look of the beer is absolutely spot on. Smell-wise, and you've got to give this a whirl, Trev. You've definitely got to give this type of beer a whirl. Not too much there. You're getting this very intense, dense sort of nose to it. This is, I mean, I don't know how long we can cut. Did they say 15 minutes of YouTube? Because you could go on and on about this. You could smell this for hours. And I'll let you smell it, Trev, because you're so bang on about the apples.
Don't whirl it so the camera shakes.
No, absolutely not. Little tip there. But you've got the apples, but they're stewed sort of apples, haven't you? Cinnamon, spice. It smells old again. You've got wood into play there. There's definitely feels like this has been, again, in a cask, or you've got some sort of old wood involved in the smell too. It's not that sweet, actually. It's not that sweet. It has lost a lot of that candy sugar, candy floss sort of notes to it that I was expecting from a Leffe. Absolutely delightful nose on it. A little bit of honey as well too, Trev. A little bit of honey as well, sort of rich honey too. Beautiful. I'm going to try some now. 16 years old.
Brace yourself.
16 years old, people.
Nice.
5 out of 5. Let's go to the end. Let's just cut straight to the end.
Really?
Yeah, 5 out of 5. Absolute given. This is delicious. This is absolutely stunning. I don't know what else to say.
I'll ask a question. Would
you ask questions, I'm going to carry on drinking.
When you bought, if you bought that in '94, would it have been the sort of beer would you what you would have said will benefit from being?
Yeah, I suppose I would have done.
Vintageized.
The style and the ABV and the high sugar content, being a malt accented drink, they tend to benefit.
Okay.
There is very little bitterness in this beer. It just tastes to me. It's incredibly complex. It's difficult to describe complexity, but I'm getting so much from it. There's a little bit of chocolate, I think. There's some cinnamon in there, definitely. You've got apples, these stewed apples, honey. There's nuts as well in there too. You've got quite a nice warming sort of alcohol effect as well. It's very smooth. You've got rich, almost oily mouthfeel to it. Very little carbonation. It's just a stunning beer. It's just one of those beers, I have to be honest with you, that just literally takes your breath away. You just want to sit down with it and spend some quality time with it.
Yeah, but the point I'm trying to get across as a know nothing. Would you have thought that when you bought it? Was it that good? Was it just the aging?
It would age it this way. Oh no, I would. This has benefited, in my opinion. Not that I've ever drunk a fresh bottle of this. I've drunk obviously fresh bottles of the Leffe Brun and the Blonde, but this is, in my book, has definitely benefited from aging.
Okay.
It doesn't feel tired. It doesn't feel flat. It doesn't feel dull at all. It's still got those, it's still got that meaty, malty chassis to this beer. It's still there, which is impressive if you think about it after so long. It's absolutely delicious. Absolutely. Trev, just have a little slurp. A little slurp. So there we go. Can you age beer? Well, I think we've just proven it, haven't we? What do you think? Does it taste old? A bit leathery as well. Dusty. Can you... Trev's a bit sort of so-so. Can you age beer? Yes, you can. Proven that. What we're going to do now, I think, is... I've been thinking about this long and hard, Trev. I want someone from BeerSweden, someone from the BeerSweden community, to actually experience some of these beers with me. So I'm working on some top secret thing right now. I've got to make a few phone calls, got to send out a few emails, but I'm working on something which I hope means that one of you, or maybe a couple of you, can actually sit down with me somewhere beery, and we can open a couple more of these bottles and try them out. But more details about that I'm going to put on the blog a little bit later on over the next few days. So do stay tuned and come back and see what we're up to. So until then, we're going to put these back in the dark where they belong, and I'm going to finish off by saying cheers and beers.
If I could turn back time, if I could